Ever taken your car to a mechanic for something small, only to get hit with a massive repair bill? If so, you're not alone. While many mechanics are honest pros, a few bad apples know exactly how to pad your bill with unnecessary repairs. But don't worry, we've got your back. In today's video, we're exposing 10 car repair scams that can cost you big if you're not careful. And trust me, you'll want to stick around until number 1, because it's a scam so sneaky, most drivers don't even realize they're falling for it. Ready? Let's jump right in. 10. The fluid flush you don't really need. Your transmission fluid is dirty, you need a flush ASAP. Sound familiar? Check your manual first. Otherwise, you might just be flushing your money down the drain. It's one of those lines that makes drivers wonder if they've been neglecting their car. Sure, fluids need changing over time, but not as often as some mechanics claim. Most modern cars only need transmission, coolant, or brake fluid changes at specific intervals listed in the owner's manual. If a mechanic is pushing a flush long before it's due, that's a red flag. Some shops even use machines that force fluid through the system, which can cause damage if done incorrectly. If a flush is recommended, always ask to see the fluid and get an explanation of why it needs replacing. If the explanation is vague or the mechanic becomes pushy, consider walking away. Unnecessary fluid flushes can cost between $100 to $300 depending on the system. Worse, forcing fluid through the system can cause damage that leads to repairs costing hundreds more. 9. Replacing parts too soon. Your brake pads are almost worn out. You need new ones right now. This classic trick works because most drivers can't easily tell how worn their brake pads are. Mechanics may exaggerate the wear to convince customers to replace parts prematurely. Always ask to see the parts before agreeing to the repair. If the mechanic refuses, that's a warning sign.
But I can feel that it's all warped, that it's not even.
Here's a quick tip. Brake pads typically need replacing when they're about 3 millimeters thick. Anything more than that means there's still time. Engine air filters only need changing when they are visibly clogged, not just a little dusty. Cabin air filters can be checked under the dashboard or glove box. This scam is common, but the next one involves a fee that can catch anyone off guard. 8. The mysterious diagnostic fee. While diagnosing car problems requires skill, some shops use high fees to pressure customers into expensive repairs. Worse, some places offer to waive the fee if the repair is done at their shop, making customers feel trapped. To save money, many auto parts stores like AutoZone and O'Reilly Auto Parts will scan the car's computer for free and provide information on what might be wrong. Some reputable mechanics also apply the diagnostic fee toward the cost of the repair, so always ask before they begin. And if a $150 diagnostic fee sounds steep, wait until you hear what they might say about the timing belt. 7. The timing belt scare. Your timing belt could snap any minute. You should replace it today. Timing belts are essential, but they rarely break without warning. Most need replacing between 60,000 and 100,000 miles as indicated in the owner's manual. Replacing a timing belt too early can cost between $500 and $1,000 or more for luxury vehicles. Since timing belts rarely fail without warning, replacing them too soon is a costly mistake.
She sounds good.
And a bonus tip, vehicles with a timing chain instead of a belt often do not need replacement, since timing chains are built to last the life of the engine. It's important to know what the vehicle has to avoid falling for this scare tactic. But if this sounds like an easy upsell, the next scam is even sneakier. 6. The air filter switcheroo. Your air filters are dirty, you need new ones. This upsell is common because filters are inexpensive, quick to replace, and profitable for shops. Mechanics may claim the filters are dirty and need immediate replacement, often charging more than the filters actually cost. To avoid this, remove the filter and hold it up to the light. If light passes through, it's still good. Replacing an engine or cabin air filter at a shop can cost $50 to $100, even though the parts themselves usually cost $10 to $30. Save money by replacing them yourself in just a few minutes. Replacing air filters is a simple DIY task that usually takes less than 5 minutes and can save both time and money. Cabin air filters help keep the air inside the car clean, while engine air filters help the engine breathe properly. Replacing them too soon is unnecessary and a waste of money. And if this sounds like a quick way to lose money, wait until you hear what's next. These scams only get more common as the list goes on. 5. Sneaky extra labor charges. Before any work begins, always ask for a detailed estimate that covers labor, parts, and possible extras. If the final bill's higher than expected, ask what extra work was done and why it wasn't included up front. For example, you might go in for a brake pad replacement and find surprise charges for adjusting calipers or cleaning rotors. Make sure they explain why those tasks weren't part of the standard repair. A written estimate is your best defense, and if the final bill is more than 10 to 15% over the estimate, don't be afraid to question it. Check if the shop has its labor rates posted. If they try to overcharge, remind them of their listed rates. Here's what happened once. A guy went in for a routine oil change, only to find an extra $80 added for cleaning engine sludge. Luckily, they asked to see proof of the sludge, and, surprise, the mechanic couldn't show any. Moral of the story? Always question surprise fees. Number 4, the lifetime alignment trap. Buy our lifetime alignment package. It'll save you money. Sounds like a deal, right? But the fine print often has a catch. Some shops limit how often you can use the package, charge extra fees, or only offer alignments if your car's visibly misaligned. Lifetime alignment packages often cost $150 to $250, but hidden fees and usage limits can make it less of a deal. Most cars only need an alignment once a year or after installing new tires. Unless you're constantly hitting potholes or driving rough roads, you probably won't need alignments as often as they suggest. Typically, you should get an alignment after buying new tires. If your car pulls to one side, if the steering wheel vibrates, or if you notice uneven tire wear. Otherwise, save your money. Most cars only need an alignment once a year, if that. That's a classic upsell, but wait until you hear the next tactic. It's designed to catch you off guard. 3. Charging for premium parts but using cheap ones. Unfortunately, some mechanics charge for premium parts but install cheaper ones, assuming you'll never notice. Always ask to see the parts before and after installation, and request the brand name, model number, and warranty details. Compare part prices online to make sure you're being charged fairly. If the mechanic refuses to show you the old parts, consider it a red flag. For expensive repairs, buying your own parts can save money and guarantee you're getting what you pay for. Trust me, this one's more common than you'd think. And that's not the only trick mechanics use. Up next is one that's even harder to spot. Number 2, the tune-up trick. Your engine's running rough. You need a tune-up. While this might have been true for older cars, modern vehicles rarely need traditional tune-ups. Spark plugs and ignition coils often last well over 100,000 miles. The issue could be as simple as a dirty throttle body or a faulty sensor. So don't get talked into a vague tune-up that might cost $100 to $300 or more. Always ask for a specific diagnosis. If your check engine light is on, get the exact diagnostic code. Many auto parts stores offer free scans. For example, a rough idle could mean a dirty throttle body, and sluggish acceleration might point to a clogged fuel filter. Stick to your car's maintenance schedule and only replace parts when they're actually worn out. Speaking of sneaky scams, wait until you hear number 1. It preys on fear. Number 1. The safety scare tactic. This issue is dangerous. You shouldn't drive until we fix it. This scare tactic works because nobody wants to risk their safety. But some mechanics exaggerate problems to pressure you into immediate repairs. If you hear this, stay calm and ask for a detailed explanation. Take time to research the problem or consult your owner's manual. Repairs done under pressure often cost more because drivers feel rushed to approve them. For example, brake pad replacements can cost $300 to $600, while oil leak repairs can range from $200 to over $1,000. Always get a second opinion if you're unsure. Common urgent issues that might not be emergencies include slightly worn brake pads, minor oil leaks, and check engine lights caused by sensor glitches. If the mechanic insists that it's a life or death situation, ask them to put their diagnosis and recommended repairs in writing. This often makes them think twice. Someone was told their brakes were so bad they couldn't drive home. Instead of panicking, they got a second opinion. And guess what? The brakes were fine for another 10,000 miles. So remember, fear is a powerful sales tool. Don't fall for it. Avoiding these scams means more money in your pocket, fewer surprise repairs, and a car that runs smoothly. So next time you visit the mechanic, remember these tips. Ask questions, and don't be afraid to speak up. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more car tips. Have a story about getting scammed? Share it in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. See you next time, and drive safe.